as well.
Adam Prosak, you guys are familiar with from Star City Games. He does write on here. He is a big member of the Invitational and Open Series. He is always attending ones in the areas where he does live. He is based out of Cincinnati right now. And of course, if you do follow twitch.tv, he does his show Snap Keeps about 2 or 3 times a week. And if you guys have been watching Snap Keeps recently, you know that he's been testing this deck, trying different things with ad nauseum. And I mean, again, he's also the developer of Blue White Flash, which has taken Standard by storm over the past month and a half, and that's what he played in Standard this weekend. So Adam having a very, very good weekend with 2 decks where if you followed him on Storm, you would know exactly, you would know exactly the 2 decks that he was playing this weekend. So it is going to be interesting as we see Adam playing Ad Nauseam and we see Samuel Friedman playing Esper Stoneblade. And this is a deck, again, if you guys follow Legacy at all, you are very familiar with Stoneforge Mystic and, of course, Batter Skull and Umezawa's Jite. And it's got a bit of discard as well.
There we are.
There we are.
You can see this. I don't think you can. Right over here is the creature portion of it. It's empty except for 3 letters. LOL,
yep,
says Adam Prosak.
Those are the creatures in Adam Prosak's deck. The old LOL. Absolutely none in his deck list.
He does not have any in the sideboard either. Sometimes you might see some like random little insects running around, but nope, Adam is very pure, going with the Burning Wish style stuff. Probably not Burning Wish. My bad. Incorrect with Ant. No Burning Wish is an Ant. Yep. My bad. But yeah, I like seeing the lols there from Adam Prosak. Adam Prosak, his podcast... his broadcast when he does that, he's a great Magic player to watch, I think.
Of course. He thinks of the game a bit differently. You know, it takes a creative and very smart person to come up with the Blue-White Flash deck in Standard. No one else was doing it before him, and a lot of people are doing it after him. But we are in Legacy mode, and where we're going to start here is a Ponder, a card that Adam is obviously familiar with, not just from his Delver days, but he's also playing it in his deck this weekend in Ad Nauseam Tendrils, as we're going to see a Ponder here from Sam Friedman. And go ahead, I'm sorry.
If you're just joining us, this is the final round here. Adam Prosak on the right, Sam Friedman on the left, Esper Stoneblade versus Ant, and a Ponder from Sam Friedman. We've got 1, 2, 3, what you got? Sam hiding it from our hand cam. Not very difficult. I see a Thoughtseize. I can't tell what else is there besides that Thoughtseize.
He's doing a nice job of hiding it, that's for darn sure. I mean, it looks like there's a white border card there, which leads to believe that one of those cards is a dual land.
There are some people that like to play to the camera and other people that like to hide it from the camera.
It's all secrecy. But it looks like this Ponder is going to be a key.
And Thoughtseize goes to his hand, I believe. If he ordered that the way I think he did.
And we see a Swords of Plowshares, a Flooded Strand, a Force of Will, some other cards here. And what we're going to see is a Preordain here from Adam, showing us an Underground Sea and a Polluted Delta. Adam is going to keep those right on the top, take the Polluted Delta and pass on back, which leads me to believe that the man needs lands.
Adam Prosak's list has 6 cards for interaction, and that is 4 Duress, 2 Cabal Therapy. If you want to be more of a stickler, you could say he's got 7 cards for interaction, because there is that Tendrils of Agony.
And what you are going to find here is one of the cards that Adam does not have, which is a Thoughtseize, and that's showing us a Duress. It's showing us a Dark Ritual, a Polluted Delta, along with the Lotus Petal. And the card in the middle, I'm not quite sure, honestly, what that one is, but he is going to take the Dark Ritual, cut off the mana sources, which is key to stopping the Ad Nauseam deck from going off.
Was that in, that was a different art Duress?
Okay. And Adam is going to take a look here, and what he's going to see is a hand that he is very, very happy to see. You see a Force of Will, you see 2 Swords of Plowshares, and you see a Flooded Strand. Force of Will, an important card in this matchup. Swords of Plowshares is not, so that's likely what Duress is going to end up taking, and it's going to leave Sam with 2 dead cards and his 3rd land.
Yeah. Now, those kinds of cards are exactly the reason why a Brainstorm can feel just like drawing 3 cards, because those dead ones might as well not even be in your hand.
So we see Sam take a draw step here. He's going to play that Flooded Strand. He's going to go sacrificing of those 2 fetch lands. He's going to search out likely some dual lands here, but we'll find out for sure in just a second. And it looks like he has something that he wants to cast on his main phase very badly right now, but we're not quite sure what it is.
Is he got, I don't know, is it going to be a Snapcaster plus another discard spell? From the yard, Snapcaster Thoughtseize?
Well, there are 4 Snapcaster Mages here in Sam's deck list. There's also 1 Vendilion Click. I'd be a little surprised to see a Vendilion Click right now, but it does feel like a Snapcaster Mage, and that's exactly what it is. It is targeting that Thoughtseize that you spoke of. And you'll see Adam's hand is a Duress, a Lotus Petal, and a Polluted Delta. So not too much going on here for Adam. Really not too much Adrian going on for either player.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things about Adam's deck is with this mana acceleration, he gets rid of that Lotus Petal. There's a Duress left in his hand. With the mana acceleration, all he needs is a single ad nauseam. It's not like he's going to be trying to do the Storm effect to go off. It's the Storm effect he uses to get the kill. So it's a bit different than a lot of other decks because he can just push through his entire deck. All he's going to do, get to that ad nauseum, and then finish off with the Tendrils.
You see a big draw there from Adam. He drew a Dark Ritual to go along with a Lion's Eye Diamond. He also drew an ad nauseum. So his draw steps have been relatively good thus far in this bit of a mid-game. While he is being clocked a little bit by Snapcaster Mage here, it's not enough pressure to force him to do something, but Jace the Mind Sculptor very well may be. So we're going to see the big die move on there. 3 counters to start. We're either going to see a Brainstorm or we could see a little Fate Seal.
I mean, with those 2 swords in my hand, if I were Sam, I would just... the question for me is, can I get a Force of Will now? Please, please, just give me a Force of Will right now. Oh, that is not the look of a man with the Force of Will.
And the one thing about that Force Will that you do speak of is Adam has the ability, because of that other Duress in his hand, to make sure that the coast is clear at some point, and then if it is clear, it's go time. And we do know that he does have a Dark Ritual, he does have a Lion's Eye Diamond, and he does have that ad nauseum. He'd probably feel a little bit safer if he does have another ritual type effect, and he does draw a Preordain for the turn. So he's going to get to scry 2 cards here.
Gemstone Mine and an Infernal Tutor.
Infernal Tutor, not bad. Obviously combos very well with a Lion's Eye Diamond. And for those of you guys who are not familiar with Infernal Tutor at home, we are going to bring it up on screen for you because it is one of the more unique tutor effects that Magic has ever seen.
Infernal Tutor has this joyous ability that, it's kind of funny, Rakdos's old thing from Ravnica. Is your hand empty? Are you hellbent?
But for new Ravnica, we're doing Unleash, and Unleash with sorcery is something that I don't know how that would work. But I know how Hellbent works. And again, it's if you have no cards, you're actually able to search a card for your library and put it in your hand. So it is just a demonic tutor.
Yeah.
As you know, as powerful as that card was in the past, you have to work for this one a little bit here. But even the front half of that card can be okay.
Absolutely.
It does have its uses, even though it is a little bit restrictive.
Lion's Eye Diamond. When this card was first printed, people asked themselves, why on earth would I ever want to do that?
Yeah. And with good reason, of course. And now, a lot of the argument that a lot of people make in Legacy, of course, is with the power level of certain decks in this format. You know, there's very fair decks like Goblins and Maverick, and there's completely busted decks. And whenever someone talks about a busted deck, they basically say, why aren't you playing a Lion's Eye Diamond deck? As long as that card's legal, I'm going to play with that card. But we do see Adam finally resolve that Preordain. He is going to put the Infernal Tutor into his hand, and it's going to be interesting to see is he going to go for it right now? As we see a Duress here. And what we see is a handful of swords.
Okay, look at that, the storm count. That is an indication of what he's planning on doing this turn.
Now, can Adam move in?
1/2 mana.
Well, I don't think he'd be sacking these if he wasn't going to do something. So, Adrian, we might have a storm brewing.
And Adam going through his land. There are not very many lands that can be fetched in his deck. A grand total of what I will call 8 real lands, 6 of them fetchable. You can see probably a Beta Underground Sea there.
It's beautiful. And now we're going to see...
Or it's a Sharpie one. That'd be what I would use.
A Dark Ritual.
3 black mana in the pool. Lion's Eye Diamond. You can see the storm count ramping up there.
You see Adam really moving here. Inferno Tutor on the stack. He's going to sack that Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll see what he's going to search for here as the storm count moves up. The mana moves up. And Adam's going to decide what color he's going to want there with the Lion's Eye Diamond. Make sure he doesn't make any mistakes here in going off. One thing you don't want to do when you're trying to brew up that storm is you don't want to be hasty. You don't want to get these numbers wrong, or you're in some serious trouble. And it looks like Adam kind of scratching his head a little bit here, Adrian.
Let's see what happens.
Is he wondering what card he's supposed to get? Did he perhaps name the wrong color with Lion's Eye Diamond? We had Adam on camera a little bit earlier this weekend playing against a burn player. Didn't have much of an issue taking that player down. And we'll see exactly what he's going to go to. Is it going to be Ad Nauseam time? Is it going to be Past in Flames? As he goes by Past in Flames, the only red card in his deck. He goes by Tendrils of Agony. It's not time for that. It is time for Ad Nauseam.
Okay.
It is time to gamble.
0 mana left in the pool. 6 count on the storm. And I've seen Ad Nauseam kill a few people. But you know what?
Have I.
The average casting cost in his deck, now that Ad Nauseam's out of the deck, pretty low.
And you see Adam take a huge deep breath as we're going to go into Ad Nauseam time. You see a Cabal Therapy.
1.
You see a Gataxian Probe.
2.
Preordain.
3.
Polluted Delta. Lotus Petal. Gemstone Mine.
4.
Gataxian Probe. Lotus Petal. Cabal Therapy.
5.
Ponder.
6. I'm going to start.
Scalding Tarn.
I'm going to count down. His life total is 6 currently.
Polluted Delta. Ponder.
5.
No 5s in his deck. He does have a Tendrils of Agony in his deck. He also has Past in Flames as well as 4s that he could hit. The only 5 isn't Ad Nauseam, which of course has already been cast. But one thing you have to keep in mind, Adrian, is that Gataxian Probe costs 2 life to use in this situation.
Yep. He does have the 1 Gataxian Probe there. Is there 2?
There are 2. Both in the front row.
Yeah, I see the foil one, or the second card in, that's the one I was missing. He goes for it.
Keep going. You see a Gataxian Probe number
down to
3.
4. He can only cast for free 1 of those 2 probes.
And now he's doing the math here and he's saying, okay, what can I do? Do I have to get lucky? Do I need to find a Lion's Eye Diamond? Do I need to find a Dark Ritual to be able to go off? Can I risk trying to hit one of these 2 4s as he's rearranging everything right now? He's already played his land for the turn. Excuse me, so that's not going to save him, but you know, those Lotus Petals are going to act like lands this turn. But again, as you said, the converted mana cost in this deck is relatively low, but he does have those 2 4s that he can hit. If at any point Adam turns over a Past in Flames or a Tendrils of Agony, he's going to die, but it looks like he has put the brakes on Ad Nauseam, and he says, this is enough.
Yep. Now remember, that Snapcaster Mage is no joke.
Yeah.
He's sitting there ready to do 2.
Those hits that Snapcaster Mage did, they changed the complexity of this game. You know, I'm sure Adam wouldn't mind another 6 points of life to go through with this Ad Nauseam. You see him setting aside cards, building a plan right now, sculpting a strategy. He's been doing this all tournament long. I believe he is 6-1 with Storm this weekend.
Goodbye. Preordain, Gataxian Probe, Cabal Therapy, land, and a card that I can't quite make out.
He has 2 Gataxian Probes, a Cabal Therapy, a Preordain, and 3 lands are being put into the graveyard. So it looks like to me he is just simply... He basically sculpted himself a hand in an attempt to go off again and left himself at 4 life. Snapcaster Mage going to be able to knock him down to 2 life.
Snapcaster Mage and Jace the Mind Sculptor, 2 Titans waiting to try to knock Adam out. Adam, a hand full of cards, 7 cards, tons of free mana in Lotus Petal, lots of Larvae manipulation. One of the things that's a possibility amongst the options are Brainstorm and Fate Seal, but also Sam Friedman can go attack, unsummon his Snapcaster Mage, and use it to do a, if there is a Thoughtseize in the graveyard, to do that. That's another possibility too. I don't know that that's going to be as good as a Brainstorm from Jace, but it is an option. Let's see what he does.
See Sam reaching for mana here. pulls forward a Swamp and a Tundra. We know that his hand has 2 Swords of Plowshares. We don't know what that third card is, but that third card is a Snapcaster Mage.
Wow.
And that is a Ponder. One of those cards revealed was a Force of Will. The last one was a Tundra. The top one we did not get to see very well. Keep in mind as well, Adrian, that Jace has not been used yet.
That's right.
Fate Seal, Brainstorm, all of those things still an option as Sam is shuffling away with the Ponder. If you're Sam, Adrian, is there a specific card that you are looking for right now? As I know you do have his deck list in front of you. Is there something that really stands out to you?
It's a rough one. I mean, Force of Will is a card he shuffled away. So that would have been the card I would have imagined. But he does know Adam has discard cards in hand. So perhaps what he's looking for is his own discard right now.
And now you're going to see Jace Brainstorm. You see him hit a Ponder, a Spell Pierce.
Yeah, that's going to be very valuable.
And it wouldn't be a surprise to see these swords be put away. Obviously, they're not going to do very much in this matchup.
About all a swords is going to be able to do is gain 2 life.
And now you see an Inquisition of Kozilek, revealing a Ponder, a Scalding Tarn, a second Ponder, 2 Lotus Petals, a Gitaxian Probe, and a Cabal Therapy.
It's either the Ponder or the Cabal Therapy, I think. Ponder makes the most sense to me. There's 2 Ponders, though. Jeez. This is a tough one.
Adam has made it very difficult. It's also interesting, too, that he decided to keep a Cabal Therapy. And the reason that he did that, of course, is to make sure that the coast is clear when he tries to go off. But what is he going to name? You know, Samuel has seen a lot of cards this turn. Is he going to name Force of Will? Is he going to be smart enough, intuitive enough to name Spell Pierce? Would he be so inclined to play around a card like Flusterstorm?
We see Ponder gone. Sam Friedman has Adam Prosak against the ropes. Adam's still in it, though. 6 cards in his hand from using the Ad Nauseam the last turn. And to Adam, this is the moment of truth. Wow! Oh, look at that look on Adam's face.
Oh, boy! Woo! So Adam last turn, after doing a lot of calculations and, you know, moving the cards around of what were lands, what were spells, what made mana, what didn't make mana, you know, what Phyrexian mana cards I had, he decided to put the brakes on Ad Nauseam at 4 life, and the top card of his deck that he drew this turn was a Past in Flames, which its converted mana cost is 4. The Foresight, the ability. And now we're going to see a spell here. It looks like he's going to be leading off with a Gitaxian Probe.
This is going to be the classic Peak, followed by a Cabal Therapy combo.
And of course, he is only at 2 life right now, so he cannot afford to pay the alternate casting cost, the Phyrexian mana cost on this card. But Adam wants his information. He wants to know what card do I need to play around and or what card do I need to name with Cabal Therapy. And Sam says that card is Spell Pierce.
One card, Spell Pierce. I have a feeling that we're going to see a Cabal Therapy naming Spell Pierce.
Adam draws a card. Adam draws a land. He has not played a land yet this turn. He draws a Gemstone Mine. We're going to see that Cabal Therapy.
Spell Pierce. Okay, the coast is clear.
We have 2 spells so far this turn, and Adam is going to do a little bit of math here. He wants to make sure he does not mess this up. This is his best opportunity to win this game. This is the last opportunity he has to win this game.
Double Dark Ritual there in the graveyard. There might be a triple, but I think it's just the 2. Ponder.
You see a Ponder.
For some more action.
It feels like to me he's looking for Lion's Eye Diamond, and he found 2.
Oh, wow.
And he wants to make sure. He wants to make sure, and he takes a Lion's Eye Diamond.
That was exciting. And here come the zeros. The land for free.
3 counters on the Gemstone Mine.
0, 0, 0.
2 Lotus Petals and a Lion's Eye Diamond. We're moving the storm count up now.
And we're going to see Past in Flames cast for Xaxes In response, Lion's Eye Diamond.
We'll see what color he's going to name. It's likely going to be black. He's going to lose his hand. Storm count's going to go up to 7. He's going to have to discard that Scalding Tarn. And as you said, there are 2 Dark Rituals in the graveyard. So you see 1 Dark Ritual. You see another Dark Ritual. And Adrian, we both know that there is an Infernal Tutor in the graveyard as well.
Here it comes. Please come to the silence, please.
Boom.
Inferno Tutor, Hellbent, of course, no cards in hand. Adam searches for a Tendrils of Agony, and he is going to cast that as soon as he shows it to him. Sam just waiting. There it is. Game 1, an impressive one, as you can see the look on Adam Prosak's face.
Right next to him, Christian Valenti, looking on. What draws?
Unbelievable. A great start to this penultimate round of the Invitational. Adam Prosak up a game with his Ad Nauseam Tendrils deck.
You've heard us talking about our amazing runner. There he is in the background, Christian. I can't believe I said the name wrong. Brandon Hickey, who's been doing amazing work for us all weekend. Christian Valenti looking on as Adam Prosak. Right there on our right draws such incredible cards. Sam Friedman wondering how those Swords to Plowshares glued themselves to his hand.
Just an unbelievable. I mean, there's unfortunately on Sam's side, you know, a lot of what we're talking about, we're highlighting Adam and his play there because his deck for that particular game is one. It's more interesting in that particular game, but there was just so much that he had to do and calculate and run the numbers and figure out how exactly I'm going to go about killing my opponent. And if I'm able to figure it out, you know, what am I going to do to, you know, take those steps to make sure that I don't die to the Snapcaster Mage, I don't die to the Ad Nauseam. What can I do? And you saw. Very rarely do you see someone stop that Ad Nauseam. And, you know, they're thinking to themselves, I just have to keep going here. And Adam just decided, I have crafted a hand in such a way that I can try to go off again next turn, and I don't have to take the risk of killing myself. And that's exactly what he did. He put the brakes on, then he ended up winning the game after some favorable pondering, gets Haxian Probing and Cabal Therapying. Very, very well played game.
I kind of wonder if Adam is telling Sam, yeah, those were rips. Just they were rips. I just want to let you know.
Yeah. Unbelievable game. But for Sam Friedman's side, as we have the deck list in front of us, obviously, you want to bring some of the attention over to Sam Friedman as well, because, I mean, at the same time, he is also playing for top 8 here. Let's not gloss over the fact that, yes, we all know Adam. Yes, you know, he provides content for Star City Games, but Samuel Friedman has been having one hell of a tournament himself, and there's a reason that he is here with his Esper Stoneblade deck. Now, I'm not sure if he's played against Storm at all this weekend, but I can almost guarantee you one thing. Swords to Plowshares, those are going out. And some of the cards that are going in here, you can expect to see maybe a Disenchant, maybe catch Lion's Eye Diamond or Lotus Petal off guard, Engineered Explosives, maybe an additional Jace the Mind Sculptor. We're also looking at here Surgical Extraction, a card that could be joining us. He has an additional Thoughtseize in the sideboard, a Vendilion Click to break up Adam's combo after he generates a bunch of mana in response to maybe that crucial Dark Ritual. He casts Vendilion Click to take care of that Ad Nauseam, or that Past in Flames, or that Infernal Tutor. All cards that can be coming in, and I think it's safe to say that Sam has plenty of cards to sideboard out.
Yeah, I think on Adam's side, what we're going to see Adam's sideboard in a tropical island. And the reason he's going to bring in this tropical island, it's pretty simple. 3 Carpet of Flowers in the sideboard.
Ooh, boy.
Carpet of Flowers, this is an old card. Really an oldie but a goodie. Green for an enchantment. And what does it do? During your turn, for every island that your opponent has, you get to make whatever color mana you want. That means that if your opponent is a controlling deck and they've got out, let's say, a Tundra, let's say an Underground Sea, that means you get to create 2 mana every turn. And if they lay out another island, that's yet another bit of mana. And what are you going to do with this mana? Well, you're a deck that casts Ad Nauseam, so you're going to go off, win all that much faster, be able to do all of the things that Adam was doing in this last game, but off of the strength of a single card generating that ton of mana. I was talking to him about his deck earlier today, looking at his sideboard, stopped in that Carpet of Flowers, and he looked up at me and he said, yeah, that's been a goodie.
Carpet of Flowers is a card that has been overlooked by just a lot of people. It's just a card that doesn't really get a lot of press, but it does one thing. It's very niche-y, but it does one thing, and it does it very, very well.
Absolutely.
You typically find it in the Enchantress decks, either in their sideboard. Some of them start the main deck. I know that Chris Anderson has been playing Andrew Cuneo's take on Blue-Green Enchantress. That deck has been known to main deck Carpet of Flowers, because even though there are some matchups where it's not providing an advantage, at least in that deck it's drawing a card.
Yeah.
Now here, in the Storm deck, it's much more suited to be in the sideboard, but this is a card that, you know, I think you said they don't make hosers like they used to earlier today, with your chills and your chokes, and this is exactly what you're talking about. This is a hoser.
Yeah,
right here.
It's funny, it wasn't respected as a hoser at the time, but it has proven the test of time. One of the other cards he's going to bring in is going to be another Cabal Therapy. And the question of whether he brings in Abrupt Decay or not, that really boils down to what he thinks he might have to fear from Samuel Friedman. And, you know, looking at Sam Friedman's list, there aren't any particularly scary, cheap things that Sam Friedman is keeping on play on the table. So I don't expect to see that happen at all.
You know, it's kind of a hedge. It's kind of a nice card to have a hedge on. You know, there are cards that Abrupt Decay takes care of that nothing does it as efficiently as that card does. You know, there are cards like Aethersworn Canonist, Rule of Law, Arcane Laboratory, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And Abrupt Decay is not only a clean catch-all for those, but it can't be countered.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be you'd see Krosan Grip in that spot, and people hated to run something like that, but it wouldn't even hit all the things you needed to hit.
No.
And Abrupt Decay, it does a lot of work, to use a phrase that some love and some hate. Samuel Friedman here, Ponder on turn 1 off of a fetch land. I can see what's in his hand a little bit right now. I think I see Island Snapcaster Mage, and then he moved him. Oh.
Yeah, you had a chance.
He's guarding that hand. He's guarding that Ponder. We'll have to wait and see what we can see. Don't try to tilt your head off to the side to get it. We don't broadcast in 3D yet.
Not yet. Yet.
Evan Irwin, you're on it. I know it. Over from Adam's side, Ponder. 3 Moon Ponder, one of my favorites.
So now Adam is just going to go sculpting. He's found a Duress, he's found a Gataxian Probe, he's found a Lotus Petal. This is what the Storm deck does in the other turns. It goes sculpting. It's looking for rituals. It's looking for a little bit of proactive disruption to make sure that the coast is clear, and then it's going to brew a storm like it did in Game 1. But it needs to take those first couple of turns to get everything set up. You see Samuel Friedman, he draws his card for the turn. It is a Flooded Strand. He is going to consider his options here. We see a Stoneforge Mystic. We see an Academy Ruins. We see a Snapcaster Mage in his hand. We're not sure what kind of permission he has at this point as he is leafing through his cards. But he is weighing his options right now. You can see that he wants to play Stoneforge Mystic. He wants to get that clock going, and that's exactly what he's going to do. And he is going to search for Batterskull here. You see Adam draw a card. Adam draws the ever deadly Duress. It was fantastic form in Game 1.
You can see a hand. Basically, Adam's whole deck is library manipulation, mana, discard. And then finally, just a few cards in there to finish the kill off.
Yep. You know, there are different versions of Storm. There are Ad Nauseam Tendrils, there's Epic Storm, there are lists with Burning Wish, there are lists without Burning Wish. Of course, Burning Wish, there is some utility there, but it also does make you change the way that you have to build your sideboard and some of your main deck slots. But Adam has opted not to go that route, as you do see a Duress here.
Sam Friedman reveals Stoneforge Mystic, Snapcaster Mage, Land, Batterskull, Force of Will, and
a Surgical Extraction.
Surgical Extraction. That was why he took a pause there. He was like, wait a second, do I want to respond? Well, okay, I guess I'm not so interested in knocking your Ponders out.
Now, the interesting thing there with the Surgical Extraction, too, as he was thinking about it, not only, Adrian, would he be knocking out the Ponders, but Adam kept with his Ponder. So would he make him reshuffle his deck? Maybe he kept those cards in a different order to, dodge against discard. Surgical Extraction would have broken that entire thing up. So I think that's what some of the pause was for Sam Friedman as well.
Now, the Snapcaster Mage in hand means that the Surgical Extraction, regardless, can be cast even if it is discarded. Yep. It'll cost 2 mana to make that Snapcaster do it, but that hasn't stopped Snapcaster from casting Phyrexian spells in the past.
As we do see Adam just pass back here, we do know that there's a Batterskull looming here for Sam. This is one of the matchups where Stoneforge Mystic plus Batterskull isn't at its best. By no means is that combination of cards ever poor, but if you're looking for a matchup where it's not great, this is certainly it.
one of the things is that there's only so many cards you can take out, and Stoneforge Mystic might be a really slow guy, but how many cards do you have to bring in? You know, you've got to put something out there to do some kind of damage.
Yeah, you can't rely on your opponent to kill himself. I mean, Ad Nauseam does a nice job of it. But again, you know, it's certainly not irrelevant. Now, again, the life gain on Batterskull is certainly relevant because there are times where you can only generate tendrils for a certain amount. And of course, the damage it deals, as we saw with Ad Nauseam last game, is going to be relevant, but it takes a little while to get online.
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here with Cedric Phillips. We are watching Game 2 of the 16th round here of our Star City Games Open Series featuring the Invitational here in Los Angeles. Adam Prosak up a game versus Sam Friedman. Prosak with Ant, Sam Friedman with Esper Stoneblade.
Now we see Adam did get Taxi and probe Sam. Check to see if the coast is clear or anything of that nature. Adam now resolving a Brainstorm, putting some cards back, considering his options. He does have a fetch land in there as well to be able to get rid of some of the garbage that he will be putting back. But if there is any deck that's difficult to brainstorm with in Legacy, Adrian, I think this one might be the most difficult.
Every single card is basically the same as one of the other cards in your hand, generally speaking, with a very few exceptions. And so what you have to know is the balance and value of how much mana do I need, not right now necessarily, but maybe the next turn. My opponent might disrupt me. How much disruption do I need to have coming back? How far off is it that I'm going to be trying to go off? Is it going to be next turn, this turn, 3 turns from now?
And the other thing about this deck too is that, and this definitely goes into the Brainstorm topic, is that of all the decks, I think if you brainstorm incorrectly with this deck, I think this is the least forgiving of the Brainstorm decks in the format. If you brainstorm incorrectly here, because it is a combination deck, there's really no going back. So we see Adam taking his time here with his Brainstorm, and understandably so. This is not a decision he can afford to get wrong. He is in a pretty good position right now, even though Samuel Friedman will be turning up the heat this turn with a Batterskull coming into play.
Now, a Batterskull hit represents the equivalent of 2 more cards necessary for the Storm to kill.
Yep. As we do see Adam here move down to 17, sacrifice that Polluted Delta, clear away the Brainstorm, and get himself a Volcanic Island. We did see in Adam's hand that there are 2 copies of Lotus Petal. We're not sure on the amount of rituals, or if he does have one of those cards that he needs to really create a large storm count. But it looks like he may be moving in here. So we do see a Lotus Petal. We see a second Lotus Petal. And Mr. Wayne, there is a storm brewing.
Word from Jerry Thompson. Jerry Thompson's expecting that he's going to make the top 16. Pretty sure he's not going to make the top 8. If you're following along on the Twitter hashtag SCGINVI, you would know this already. And what are the wise words from Jerry T? Boo. Adam Prosak, 2 Lotus Petals out. Mana brewing, Storm ramping up. Infernal Tutor, what's he going to grab? Well, first of all, it has to resolve. It does.
We're going to see him get a Cabal Ritual. And he is going off without Ad Nauseam or Past in Flames. He is going off in an interesting way here. He's going to have a storm count of 5. A Cabal Ritual will be a storm count of 6. The second will be 7. Next one will be 8, and then we see a Tendrils of Agony in his hand as well. So we do see Cabal Ritual.
Ritual is a lot of mana right now. There's no opportunity for Sam Friedman to be able to even get rid of the Ritual in the Adam Prozak's hand, presuming Adam Prosak plays it like I expect he will, which is to say, correctly.
Now this is interesting. So you see there's a bit of a delay here. I'm not entirely sure why. I think maybe the thought of Cabal Ritual being on the stack is the question here.
Sam Friedman appears to be trying to determine if he wants to do anything in this moment.
You're going to see a Surgical Extraction on Infernal Tutor, and I think that Adam, oh my god.
Boom!
Adam baited him into casting Surgical.
Oh boy, that
Adam
was awesome.
Prosak baited him into casting Surgical Extraction.
Oh, look at that! Look at his face.
He did not have enough Storm with the Cabal Rituals. Tendrils would have only dealt 18. He baited Sam Friedman into casting Surgical Extraction while he was going off to make it seem like having Threshold with Cabal Ritual was a big deal.
Well done, good sir.
And by doing that, Samuel Friedman adds to the Storm count with Surgical Extraction, makes it spell number 7. Cabal Ritual number 2 makes it spell number 8. Cabal Ritual 3 makes it spell number 9. Tendrils makes it spell number 10.
Exactly enough.
And that is exactly lethal.
Goes over the top. Oh, look at Adam Prosak's face
Are
there.
you kidding me?
Oh, that is some good magic
The
right
testicular
there.
fortitude to just go through with that play? Are you
Oh.
kidding me?
Good gravy. And Sam Friedman, I think he can hear our exclamations here all the way across the room. He's thinking about whether that play made any sense now. He's questioning his decision. Oh.
Adam Prosak. Likely
Wowsies.
moving on to the top 8 after what is one of the best plays I have ever seen doing SCG Live. One of the best plays I have ever seen, knowing that his opponent will almost positively cast Surgical Extraction. And if Sam doesn't flinch, Adam goes, all right, tendrils you down to 1. Go. Sam puts a Batter Skull into play, and he's just, all right, I'm going to get my life total back and start attacking you. Oh, by the way, you have no cards in your hand.
Yep.
Unbelievable. As you
Look
see
at
Joe
that.
Bernal high five Adam Prosak. Unbelievable. If you weren't watching Snap Keeps before, I bet you'll be watching it soon.
One of the things I keep thinking about is just what Sam Friedman must be kind of going through in his own head. I mean, there's a very good reason to do what he was doing. If Adam Prosak has an Infernal Tutor in his hand, he's going to need it to win. This is an opportunity to stop it. But if Adam Prosak has the extra rituals, that's all she wrote. Wow.
Unbelievable.
That is the game of Magique. Oh.
I have
my
covered some
goodness.
games doing this, Adrian. I've covered some pretty insane matches. I've been a part of some insane matches in my career. I was part of the crew that covered the Ross Marion and Patrick Sullivan game. If you've seen that one from Star City Games Los Angeles, but I think that's the best game that I have seen. Honest to God, I think that's the best game that I've. That play, it just takes such guts to just know that your opponent is going to cast Surgical Extraction, add to the Storm count, and it's going to. He's basically killed himself, and he knows that his opponent's going to do